Right now at 5, an update on the search for 15-year-old Kathleen Shepard. Good afternoon, everyone. Kevin Cooney here live in Dayton, right in front of the Southeast Webster Grant Elementary School. That is where Kathleen Shepard was last seen about 24 hours ago. Now, a news conference wrapped up just about a half an hour ago. Here is the latest on what we know. Authorities are focused on these 3 areas right here where we are at Southeast Webster Grand Elementary. As we said, where Kathleen and another 12-year-old girl were abducted near a bus stop, a hog confinement in rural Pilot Mound where the 12-year-old girl escaped, and an area in rural Dayton where the body of the suspected kidnapper, Michael Klunder, was found. Authorities have just confirmed that he died by suicide, but they are still holding out hope that Kathleen will be found alive.
We are very optimistic still. Our plan is that we're gonna find her alive. That's our hope, and we're working very hard now to find her.
Now, a few details have been released about the 12-year-old girl who, as we said, managed to escape shortly after the abduction took place. We will hear from the farmer who found her yesterday. That'll be in just a moment. But first, Laura Nichols has been out with search teams throughout the day, and she joins us now just a few miles from here where a lot of those searches were taking place. Laura?
We're just about 3 miles northeast from Dayton. That's just in the rural part of town. Now, I'm actually standing in front of the place where authorities say the suspect, Michael Klunder, was found dead. They just confirmed at a news conference about 30 minutes ago, as you heard, that he did die by suicide. We found out that he was found here in this facility right behind me here. Now, authorities have focused on this area all day searching because Klunder was found right here. They've searched these rural fields all day. Right now, the search parties are actually taking a break, but we'll show you some video from earlier where hundreds of people were out searching. We joined some of the crews. Some of the search parties looked through fields. They looked through tall grass. There was airplanes searching from the sky. Several hundred people came out, many of them volunteering their time, taking off work. Several authorities and law enforcement officers from neighboring counties and cities also participated. We learned about 120 of them. Many people contributed to this search. This has rocked this entire community. Everyone is hoping that 15-year-old Kathleen Shepard is found alive. We talked to one mom today who knows the family. She said she took off work because she knew she had to be part of this search.
I have kids. If it was my kid or anybody else's kid, maybe because I have kids, I sympathize more, but I'd want everybody out looking for them.
Now, authorities are saying they don't need any more searchers at this point tonight. They sent everyone home for the day, including the Red Cross and Salvation Army. They said if they need more tomorrow, they will contact the local media to have us put the word out that more searchers are needed. We'll keep you updated on that.
All right, Laura Nichols reporting live for us. Thank you very much, Laura. Now, we mentioned earlier in this newscast that a little earlier this morning we spoke with a farmer, just going by the name of Patrick, who found the 12-year-old girl who was able to escape just about 24 hours ago. He described what happened.
We heard a noise off this way that sounded like a wounded animal. And we started walking this way, and here come this girl, scratches all over her legs, crying a lot. And we finally got a little bit out of her that she had somehow escaped from somebody or something.
Now, Patrick says the girl ran to his farm from a hog confinement operation about a half-mile away. She was barefoot and scratched up at the time, but otherwise, Patrick said she appeared to be okay. He says he still has hope that Kathleen will be found alive.
There is, in my opinion, is a chance she's still alive, turned her ankle, and could be stuck in a ravine trying to crawl out of it. And I'm sure she probably heard all the noise, the ATVs and cars and searchlights, but if she has a turned ankle, there's nothing she can do about it, except we got to go out and find her.
And there are a lot of people in the community here who are holding out hope as well. Vanessa Peng's been talking with them, and tell us what you found out.
Kevin, this is just devastating news for a community where everyone knows everyone. And here's what some people told me earlier today.
something that shouldn't happen.
In small-town Iowa,
It never happens in your hometown. It's always in the bigger cities.
people in Dayton, a city of just over 830, are shocked. 2 young girls were abducted right behind an elementary school in broad daylight.
You think you're so safe in a small town, and it's not true anymore.
Authorities say a 12-year-old and 15-year-old girl accepted a ride from 42-year-old Michael Klunder during a walk home. And a day later, they are still looking for Kathleen Shepard, a sophomore at Southeast Webster Grand Middle School.
She is a very sweet girl and just always has a smile on her face.
Southeast Webster Grand Superintendent Lonnie Dane says the school is reviewing safety procedures for students who walk home from school.
I believe that's something we will need to have to readdress with our parents. And I was thinking about that, trying to put together maybe some guidelines from the Iowa Department of Transportation.
Some residents are looking to a higher power to help cope with the heartbreaking incident.
Normally we wouldn't do that on a weekday, but considering the situation of the community, and it's a small community that is very close, we decided we wanted to encourage everyone to come to church and offer prayers for each other.
And whether they knew Kathleen personally, in a town where everyone knows everyone, the community is pulling together for a family in their time of need.
We're all going to be hoping and praying that it becomes a good outturn and that they find her safe.
What we're doing is waiting for an answer.
Now, earlier today at that news conference we had talked about, you could see members from the community, you could see the pain in their faces as they continue to search for Kathleen. And Kevin, we just wish this community the best of luck.
They have come together, and unfortunately it has to be for something like this. Yeah. Thank you very much, Vanessa. Now, the Webster County Sheriff's Office is asking anyone with any information about the girls or information about Michael Klunder to get in hold of them. Now, they're specifically interested in the hours between 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon and 8 o'clock yesterday evening. You can give them a call. The tip line number is 515-573-1410. As you heard Laura said, right now they're not looking for more volunteers, or they don't need more people up here right now, but if there is a situation where they do need more, they'd like to have a list. And if you would like to be on that list, you're asked to first call this number. Don't show up, but just call this number, the Webster County Emergency Management number, at 515-571-6483. Leave a message with whatever available resources you might have and your contact information. Of course, we're going to continue to follow developments throughout the evening here in Dayton, but for right now, let's get back to Stacy Horst, who has a little bit more information in the studios about the suspected kidnapper in this case. Stacy?
Okay, Kevin, thank you very much. We have been digging into Michael Klunder's background tonight. We're finding out he had a very violent past. Patrick Bell joins me now with this side of the story.
Yeah,
Patrick.
very violent past indeed, Stacy. In fact, according to these state records obtained by KCCI, Michael Klunder spent nearly 2 decades in prison for 2 separate kidnapping and assault convictions. Now, this is video from 1992 when Klunder was found guilty of abducting a Cerro Gordo County woman at knife point. He was also convicted a short time later of kidnapping 2 Charles City toddlers. Those little girls were found a short time later after that crime, safe and sound, in a trash bin near Northwood, about 50 miles away. Now, Klunder was eventually given a 41-year prison sentence, but served less than half of it. He was released in February of 2011. Why? Well, because according to the Iowa Department of Corrections, the convictions by law carry no mandatory sentence.
The sentences are reduced by what we call earn time. So when someone walks in our door, if they don't have a mandatory sentence, which in this case did not, for every day they serve, 1.2 days comes off the back end, and eventually they meet, and that becomes the discharge date.
So if this sounds confusing to you, it is, but that's the law. If someone's convicted of a crime, Stacy, and those charges don't come with a mandatory sentence, like, for instance, a first-degree murder conviction, then they're going to get out someday. That's just the way things are. A judge can't impose a mandatory sentence on someone just because.
Okay, Patrick, thank you.
Got it.
Well, this case has a lot of people wondering if there's any possible connection to the Evansdale cousins. It has been 5.5 months since the bodies of Lyric Cook and Elizabeth Collins were found in a Bremer County park. No one has been arrested for their deaths. The Black Hawk County Sheriff's Office says it is looking into the possibility of a connection with this case, but they say it's just too early to tell. Now, wrapping up our top story this afternoon, the search continues for 15-year-old Kathleen Shepard. A 12-year-old girl who was also kidnapped with her is safe. Their suspected captor dead by suicide. Search teams are combing areas in Webster, Boone, and Hamilton counties. And we will, of course, check back in with Kevin Cooney live in Dayton a little later in this newscast. Now we want to check back in with Kevin Cooney live in Dayton with the latest on the search for 15-year-old Kathleen Shepard.
All right, Stacy. Well, law enforcement does continue the search efforts for Kathleen Shepard. She was last seen right here in this area outside this school about 4:30 yesterday. She was abducted along with a 12-year-old girl. That little girl was able to escape. The suspected kidnapper, however, was found dead in a rural Dayton area about 8 o'clock last night. Authorities say he committed suicide. Law enforcement say they are searching in a lot of areas.
We have a rather large area based on things that we are aware of where he was during certain times yesterday afternoon and last night. It's a large area, and we have searched a lot of areas already last night and today. We are searching areas right now. Anything is a possibility. We get leads, we explore those leads, and right now we're still searching many areas.
And once again, authorities are asking if anyone saw anything, either regarding the suspect or regarding the individuals who are missing, to give Webster County authorities a call, especially they're interested in between the hours of 3 o'clock and 8 o'clock yesterday in the afternoon and evening. Stacy?
All right, Kevin, we'll be right back. Thank you.
It's not, is she coming home? It's when.
Michael Shepard has spent the past week trying to explain to his 3 other children why their sister isn't home.
We basically tell them when it's time for her to be back, she'll be back.
Each day is painful as he and his wife wait. Shepard says their faith has been tested, but not broken.
Mostly it's the family and the community that's keeping me from falling apart.
A community that has truly wrapped its arms around the Shepard family, whether it's searching tirelessly or painting the town purple, Kathleen's favorite color. Each ribbon is a reminder of the kind-hearted 15-year-old who loves animals and the Minnesota Vikings.
Just all around, I couldn't ask for a better, better daughter.
Shepard says his daughter often went to the library after school, so he wasn't alarmed when she didn't immediately come home last Monday. But after library closing time, Shepard says he and his wife were worried. And then they got the phone call from authorities that would change their life. Kathleen was missing, but Desi escaped and was able to give authorities a description of Clunder and his red pickup truck.
She keeps saying she doesn't want to be called a hero. So I won't call her that, but I am. There's no bigger fan than my wife and myself.
As each day goes by, many unanswered questions continue to haunt the Shepard family.
There's no way we can understand that, but why he got out, that's the part that upsets me. That's the part that I don't understand.
Had Clunder had to serve a mandatory sentence for his previous kidnapping conviction, he would still be in prison for 18 more years.
I wanted to let everybody know that the more that they show support, the easier it will be for us to change the laws so that nobody else has to go through it.
I'm not even sure devastating is the right word to use.
For a town that's remained so hopeful.
Well, I think even though it had been 3 weeks, the community, we still had a lot of hope. I mean, we still were really hoping for a good outcome.
Saturday's early morning news was a devastating blow. As authorities announced in a press conference, they found what they believe is Kathleen Shepard's body. Hearts dropped and tears were shed.
I think we're definitely a community that's mourning at this point because, I mean, and Mike has said this too, but Kathleen wasn't just his daughter. She was a part of the community. And so as a community, we really feel like she was one of our own.
For nearly 3 weeks, searchers worked tirelessly and a community rallied together in purple. Just hours before the discovery was made, Kathleen's father told us this.
I don't need to know the details. I know she was taken. I know what he's done in the past. So I don't need to know the details. I just need to have her home.
It's not the way anyone hoped, but Dayton's Angel is home and surely wearing her Vikings jersey in heaven.
The purple ribbons everywhere in town have not been touched. Even after almost 3 weeks of searching, many in Dayton had not lost hope, which is why the news from overnight hurt so much.
I was hoping that maybe she was hiding somewhere alive.
Katara Jondal saw Kathleen and Kathleen's younger sister every day after school.
It's still kind of weird because, I remember walking home with her, so it's like, I don't think she's dead, but it's like she is.
Katara's mother says she won't let her daughter go anywhere now without the family dog.
It'll always be in your mind and you'll never want to let your guard down now.
She also says she's noticed a change in the mood around Dayton, not just the sadness felt for Kathleen and her family, but a general feeling of uneasiness that so far has not gone away.
A month ago there were kids everywhere running around, just nice little old-fashioned town. Now I think people are a lot more cautious.
Dayton has lost a part of itself. And Dayton has lost its innocence the day that she was taken, May 20th.
Dayton's police chief says it was crushing to get the call that Kathleen's body had been found. And he speaks for members of the 150 law enforcement agencies and countless volunteers who helped search.
Now that I know where she was, it's just difficult, to even convey what that feeling is, because at this point, you have closure, you have found her. But at the same time, it's that crushing disappointment that it's really tough.
A life taken too soon.
It's okay to get excited about the fact that we are doing a celebration in honor of Kathleen.
Hundreds of people from the community and beyond celebrate the life of Kathleen Shepard, a girl who always had a smile on her face.
Remember how she made you laugh. Remember how, she was there when you needed her, or just at a time that things were not going so well.
But now that things are tough and unbearable for the Shepard family, they turn to her for help as they grieve.
All of you who knew her, picture her in your mind right now. Picture the best memory you have of her and hold it there.
A snapshot of a kind young lady who always had an extra hand.
It's all Kathleen ever wanted. To be happy and help. There was not a time that I can remember her turning down anybody who asked for help.
A message that Kathleen's dad, Michael, hopes will live on through her loved ones, just like her spirit will.
I want you to think of Kathleen and do one kind thing a day, and we can make this world a better place.
Just went to walk home and asked us if we wanted to mow lawn to make money. Told him we had to go ask our parents, and then he said he'd give us a ride, and then he didn't take us home. Told us we could call, and then just went on from there.
It was May 20th. Desi and her friend Kathleen Shepard were trapped inside this red pickup truck driven by registered sex offender Michael Clunder. He was taking them to a hog confinement where he worked.
I don't know, just kept thinking this wasn't right.
Clunder got Kathleen out of his truck, and Desi, just 12 years old, took a chance and made her escape.
I had to run through a lot of woods and then cross the field and run through more. Couldn't really see any buildings.
She made it to the nearest farmhouse, but wasn't certain she was safe.
I actually was kind of afraid because I thought he would be near his house. So I thought it was going to be his relatives or something, so I really didn't know what to do. Had to take a chance to find out.
The gutsy move paid off. A stranger took her in.
I actually thought that when she called me, I thought that I misunderstood her. I thought I was overreacting for no reason. And when I got there, I realized she was serious, and that was about when it hit me, was when I seen her when I first got there.
How often do you think about that?
Every day. It's the only thing on my mind.
Her good friend has been laid to rest. She wears a K around her neck and today stood alone under a towering evergreen in Dayton. It's all covered in purple, the tree, a giant ribbon, flowers, and balloons, Kathleen's favorite color. People here mourn for Kathleen and know that Desi's mere existence is a miracle.
I tell her every day, I'm so glad she's here. Every day I tell her, she's so sick of hearing it, but I don't care. I told her today I was glad she's here.
Pretty cool. You get a lot of people now that you don't even know or don't remember just coming up and hugging you and shaking hand. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So many people call you a hero, and rightly so.
Yeah, and I really hate it.
You hate that?
Being called a hero, being called brave, I hate it. Can't stand it.
Really?
Don't feel like I am, so really like to just be called by my name.
Why don't you feel like you are?
Because I'm not brave, I ran, that's cowardly, and I don't feel like a hero because I couldn't save her.
We'd still be looking for both of them, I believe. And we wouldn't even know who, what, when, where, why, or how.
Thoughts of that day fill nearly every moment and haunt her at night.
I don't sleep till like 3 in the morning. I can't sleep. When I do sleep, it's pretty crappy.
Desi and her family are already seeking counseling, but know that life will never be the same.
It must be so hard to try and return to a normal life and actually let her be out of your sight for a while.
So far that hasn't happened. Really? She has to be with a boy, because obviously going somewhere with a girl didn't work.
Try to forget that, but can't. It's gonna scar you for life. What can you do about it?